daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
Well, hello and a very warm welcome to Road to World Cup 26 podcast. You may have noticed something different about that intro because we've got a new intro to start the new season with. So very excited about that. I'm your host, Nick Britten. As always, I am joined by my esteemed colleague, football genius, according to him, handsome man, according to him, Mr. Ken Davies. How are you, Kenny?
I'm good, mate. I tell you what, I'm pleased to have you back. I did Paraguay on my own last week. It felt like last year. It was.
It felt like last year when I was listening to it.
It's hard work doing it on your own, you know. I don't know if you've ever done it on your own, but it's not as good as when you do it with someone else. I'm just saying that.
Is that going to be the tone of today? Are we already starting down that road? Yeah, I'm back. It seems like I've been away a long time. I've been back from a 2-week stint in the mighty United States of America, where I had a little tour around the northeast bit in Rhode Island and in New York City and Niagara, and ended up in Rochester, where I spent a few days in Rochester. Very nice town there. And it seems a long time since we did Road to World Cup podcast together, but it's only been a couple of weeks, mate. It's only been a couple.
I'm looking forward to getting back on it. And we've got an exciting one today, haven't we?
We've got a very exciting one today because today we are looking at a team that a lot of people think are going to win the competition. A lot of people think certainly they're going to be there amongst the hot favourites. They're going to progress very, very far. And that is, of course, the European giants, Spain. Right. The national anthem of Spain, ladies and gentlemen. I'm looking at Ken's face when that's going on. That's always a good telltale sign of whether he likes this particular national anthem or not. I'm not getting good vibes, Kenny.
I thought it was dreadful. I was thinking all the way through that, thinking, how could that get any slower? And it did. It's like if someone said, this is what was going through my mind when I was listening to that, and I'm sure people in Spain love it, and all that. Great. It's way too slow. It's a dirge. It's the kind of, if someone said to me, I'm filming Star Wars 9, I need a national anthem for the Zonkerland. And we're set in Zonkerland. We need a national anthem. Just randomly think of a national anthem. And you've got 15 minutes. That's what I would come up with. I mean, it was just out of the box kind of ABC national anthem. It's not getting anywhere past round of 32 in the world of national anthems.
Okay, well, let's hope it might not have to if Zonkerland don't qualify for the World Cup. We'll never hear again. Right, as always, we're going to have a little bit of your World Cup news, what's been going on. This week, Ken will have a brief history of Spain in the World Cup, and it's not as good as you might think. I'm going to pick out 5 key players who I think are going to make a massive impact on the World Cup next year. Ken will then tell us exactly how they're going to play, man for man. We've got Kenny's quiz, of course, everybody's favourite time of the week, and a little bit about the manager. And we'll close the podcast, as we always do, by predicting how we think Spain are going to get on. So let's kick off proceedings by looking at this week's... couple of bits of news that caught my eye this particular week, and what's interesting is the bookies are starting to gird their loins on this, Ken. The bookies are starting to pick their favourites and starting to work out quite what's going on, because suddenly over the last couple of weeks, certainly since I've been away, there has been more and more bookies now starting to offer odds. So I've had a look at a number of bookmakers. I'm not going to name any of them because I'm quite anti-betting, but it's interesting nonetheless. It gives you an indication of what people are thinking. And Spain are the favourites to win the World Cup. at 5 to
I ain't
1.
buying that. I am
No,
laying Spain.
right, okay.
What's the
We've then
odds?
got 5 to 1 at a certain betting company, and another betting company. They've got Brazil as second favourites, along with France and England. So three joints, offering 7 to 1. Current holders Argentina at another bookies is 9 to 1. And then you go out to Germany at 11s, Portugal 12s, and the Dutch at 20s, and Italy at 25. So the early indication is people think Spain, Brazil, France, England, and Argentina are the 5 to beat. That's the
Well, I
early
swap
indication.
Argentina and Spain, and I think it might be close. I'm going to go and have an each-way bet on Mexico.
Okay,
FYI.
fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, well, you can do what you like.
But,
Uh,
but I don't. Well, and we'll come to why Spain should not necessarily be the favourites a little later in the show.
I don't think those I don't think that bookie. Let's get these words out right. I don't think that betting is going to change much in the
No,
next year. I don't think we're going to see a lot of movement on that. I think they'll broadly stay as we are. Argentina at 9 to 1 is not a bad shout. Right. Okay.
that's the
Interesting
best
story.
on that.
Yeah, an interesting story that caught my eye this week in World Soccer Talk, and the cynic in me, the cynical journalist in me, raised my eyebrow at this. The Italian Football Coaches Association, the AIAC Nazionale, sent an open letter urging the Italian Federation to petition both UEFA and FIFA to suspend Israel from the World Cup. Now, according to the AIAC, the ongoing war, we all know what's going on in that part of the world, warrants, and I'm not going to go into great detail here, but it warrants Israel getting booted out. And on the face of it, right, on the face of it, you go, well, that may sound like a worthy kind of idea, and you can never separate football and politics, can you? Completely, and it may sound like that, but then, and you may think, well, the Italians maybe are kind of striking a blow for human rights, etc. But then it turns out that Italy and Israel are in the same group. Israel are above Italy, and suddenly you're thinking, oh, right, okay, maybe there's an ulterior motive to the thing. And when they get Israel booted out, then they're going to go for Norway, who are top of the group by miles, and go, right, let's find a reason for Norway to get kicked out of the World Cup. Because quite frankly, it might be the only way Italy qualify. So
pollution in the fields, terrible pollution in the fields. Kick them out.
yeah, all those wind turbines. So they play each other on September the 8th, by the way, Italy and Israel.
That's a really interesting one to follow, that, isn't it? But it's
could be a tasty one. Right, Ken, this isn't in Kenny's quiz, but I'm going to throw one early at you. Who is Calvin Cordazar Broadus Jr., better known as? Calvin Cordazar Broadus Jr., who's he better known as?
Calvin, is he an entertainer?
He's an entertainer, yeah. He's a very, very well-known, world-famous entertainer from Los Angeles.
Yeah, I'm thinking, is his first name actually still Calvin?
No, that's not his given name. It's not how we all know him. Lots of people are shouting at their phones now, going, "Yeah, I know exactly who this is."
Is this in the world of hip hop or something like that?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, hurry up, otherwise we'll be here
what's
all
the
day.
chances of me knowing hip? Okay, I'm going to make up a name of a hip hop artist in Los Angeles and hope it's him. I'm going to call him just on the basis of all the other hip hop things I've heard. I'm going to call him Big Easy.
Oh, you're close. It's Snoop Dogg.
Is he really?
Yeah, Snoop Dogg. Yeah.
Is Snoop Dogg Spanish then?
Snoop Dogg. No, he's from Los Angeles, but his real name is Calvin.
What's the with Spain then?
Huh? No, this is World Cup news. This is World Cup news, and this week Snoop Dogg has been appointed as the official Los Angeles community chairman for the upcoming World Cup, due to his deep roots in Los Angeles culture. So he's going to be running the Los Angeles.
Can you imagine what it's going to be like?
Well,
run by Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, there was a story last year. It wasn't a story, by the way. It was he kept on appearing at the Olympics in Paris, and he was doing commentary and all that kind of stuff. So he's kind of in there already. He kind of knows what he's doing. But if you're in LA, look out for Snoop Dogg. He might still get in the United States team. To be honest, they've got problems up front, so you never know.
I'd pay a lot of money to watch Snoop Dogg leading the line against Ecuador. I must admit,
It would be good.
Snoop Dogg's kind of reinvented himself.
There you go. That's your breaking news. I was cutting you off there by playing the.
No, it's okay. I wasn't saying anything of any importance anyway. But
That's the reason I was cutting you off. That's the reason I was cutting you off. Right. Okay. So as we said, we are looking at Spain this week. I won't play the national anthem again because I don't want to upset Ken too much, because I'm going to go over to you, mate. Tell us a little bit in a very brief way, because we've got to keep this to 45 minutes, the history of Spain in the World Cup.
Right, I'm going to have to whistle through it then, because here we go. History. Right, we didn't didn't enter in 1930. But actually, the World Cup record is pretty mixed, as we're going to see. In 34 quarterfinals, they were busy in 1938. I think they were involved in a war. Don't talk about that. Fourth place in 1950, didn't qualify, 1954, 1958. Group stages in 62 and 66, didn't qualify in 1970 or 1974. So it's been pretty patchy up to then. 78, they went out in the group stages, 82 group stages, 86 quarterfinals, 1990 round 16, 94 quarterfinals, 98 group stages, 2002 quarterfinals, 2006 round of 16, 2010 they were champions. Well done, Spain, you're champions. Round of applause. But since then, 2014, the group stages, 2018 round 16, 2022 round of 16, where they lost in a penalty shootout to Morocco. That led to the resignation of Luis Enrique and the appointment of Luis de la Fuente, who we're going to come to later on. So what you've got to say is that when you look at the World Cup statistics, it's properly mixed. It doesn't shout champions to me, by the way. They have, I should say, a much better record at the Euros, where they've been the champions 4 times. In fact, they've won 3 out of the last 5. But it suggests to me that they don't travel well outside Europe. And for whatever reason, that seems to be the case. Now, the form in the course of the last 2 years, 2024 and 2025, is pretty good. Played 10, won 5, drawn 4, lost 1. That loss was on the 8th of June to Portugal in the final of the Nations League. But you know what? They concede goals. Spain concede goals. So, for example, in the last 5 games, 2 against Switzerland, 2 against the Netherlands, 3 against the Netherlands, 4 against France, 2 against Portugal. 13 goals conceded in the last 5 games. So, yeah, they play a lot of great teams. Yeah, they generally win, but they're not without their issues. Finally, and we are spinning through this at a kind of rate of knots, ranking. Everybody kind of works on the basis that they're perpetually at the top of FIFA's rankings, but it's a bit more nuanced than that, as that World Cup performance would suggest. They're ranked second in the world at the moment. They were clearly first between 2008 and 2014, but it's been very mixed ever since then. Even as recently as July 2023, so only 2 years ago, they were ranked 10th in the world. And when I went into this, I thought of Spain just going to be first, second, first, second. It's not the case at all. 1998, by the way, they were ranked 25th. So if you compare their ranking over the years, though, which has generally been pretty good, certainly since 2008, with their World Cup performance, the only conclusion you can come to is that they generally significantly underperform when on the big stage of the World Cup. So that's a little spin through Spain's history, form, and kind of performance ranking. And I hope you'd agree. It's a little bit more nuanced than we originally thought.
I think so, because you're quite right, as you point out, that everybody kind of assumes Spain are number one at everything. I don't, and yet I was looking at the World Cup record this week. I was a little surprised. It didn't really. I've forgotten. You just kind of assume they're going to be in finals and win stuff all the time. But
it's not like that at all. Round of 16 is pretty much where they average out at.
But their form is very good. Their form's very good, and they are building a young, energetic, and very, very skillful team. And if the World Cup was now, I'd probably not give them that much hope. Next year, I wonder whether actually it might all kind of come together at the right time. So I'm going to choose now, and this has been quite a difficult job because there's been lots and lots and lots of players to choose from, but I'm going to pick out 5 key players to star for Spain at the World Cup next year. Okay, we're going to start, as we always do, with the goalkeeper.
That's new music, Nick. Where did that come from? I missed that at the editorial meeting.
Yeah, that's my new player intro.
Oh, right. You just randomly introduce new things to the show now, do you? We just, let's do something else. I'm going to introduce this. I'm going to introduce this to the new show. Right, listen to this. This should be the Spanish national anthem, right? There you go. Spanish national anthem.
That's good. That's good. If you're not watching this on YouTube, and by all means, please do watch it on YouTube, Ken just literally plucked a guitar off his wall, gave us a little bit of Spanish castanet style music that almost got me up on my feet, and put the guitar back. So very good, mate. Nobody asked you to bring a pipe. That was never in the editorial meeting. You suddenly produce a pipe and your Sherlock Holmes bit, and you chucked in. You're always chucking in new stuff in this. That's the whole point.
Fair enough. That's okay. That's okay. That's fine.
Anyway, you've now ruined my player's intro because it's like 5 minutes ago that I played.
Sorry, mate. Play it again.
No, I'm not going to play it again. No, I'm going to get on with this. So these are the 5 players. I always like to start with a goalkeeper, and the Spanish goalkeeper is very, very well settled. Unai Simon, very good goalkeeper. He's 28 years old, so he's the youngest goalkeeper we've had, I think, so far in 24 episodes of this podcast.
And he ain't that young.
No, well, 28 for a goalie is kind of, it's not young, but it's
sweet spot. That's the sweet spot.
I always think kind of 30, 31 is for a keeper. Anyway, by the by, he's played for Athletic Bilbao since 2018. He's had 201 appearances for them. He came in for Spain in 2020 to replace David De Gea, and he's been very much between the sticks ever since. There have been grumblings, There have been grumblings because Spain have got sort of 2 or 3 very, very good keepers, and he's not had the best season this season. He missed the first part of it through injury. He hasn't played that well. It's been a little bit hit and miss, and there are questions over whether he should be Spain's number 1. But he does have the shirt. He's pretty nailed on. And the great thing about him, when it comes to World Cup competitions and European Championships, he's brilliant at saving penalties. He's one of those that, when you've got a team and you go, right, our keeper will save penalties, and we look at a team like England and go, our keeper won't. It's that, and in a penalty shootout, it's absolute gold dust.
Absolutely matters in the World Cup.
It does. Yeah,
penalty shootout in the World Cup.
Well, this is it. And in the penalty shootouts in the last 5 years, or since he's come into the team, he's had 22 penalties fired at him. He saved 8 of them. That's a 37% save rate, which is not bad at all. It is not bad at all in penalty shootouts. So we do expect him very much to be in goal. Then I've got a couple of defenders to pick out for differing reasons, really, because one coming towards the end of his career and one very much at the start of his career. Dani Carvajal, who's the 33-year-old, he's the captain of the team, so he gets his rightful place in this list of 5. Obviously, the veteran right back, and he'll have a very important role, I think, because in a team that's full of youth and flair, you're going to need some experience in there. You're going to need some experience on the pitch and off the pitch and during games. And Carvajal certainly brings that. He's won loads of titles with Real Madrid, including a 6-time Champions League winner, 290 appearances for Real. And he's been there all his career, other than a year at Bayer Leverkusen. So he's very much a one-man club, almost. His international career, though, has been blighted by injury. And he's missed a couple of major competitions in the last... He made his debut 11 years ago, but he's missed a couple of competitions since then. He's only got 50 caps, which surprised me, because I would have thought he'd have 80, 90 by now, but the injuries kind of take their toll and tell a story. But if he can stay fit, I think he's going to be a very, very important influence for Spain, not only as captain, but off the pitch, on the pitch, around the young players at the World Cup next year. And then kind of going down to the other end of the scale, but playing next to him is very much expected to be a young man who's really just breaking through at the moment. And that is Pau Kubasi. And he's only 18 years old. but he's already the linchpin of the Barcelona defence. And the Spain coach, Luis de la Fuente, says he's called him a special player with an unnatural talent. Now, for an international coach to say that about an 18-year-old is something special. And for an 18-year-old to come into a team like Barcelona and, as I say, nail down that centre-half spot, again, is something special. He won the Olympics with the Spanish under-23 side last summer. He didn't get included in the European Championship squad. Played for the under-23s in the Olympics, and they won that. But in recent times, he is becoming a first choice for the national team as well. Played in the recent Nations League games. He was on the final for the defeat against Portugal, but played against France in the semis. Listen, he's got the world at his feet. He's got the world at his feet, and he's a player who will get better and better and better. And I think in the next, 5-10 years, we'll be hearing a lot about him. A lot of him. He's an outstanding talent. So that's Paul Kubasi. The next, we're going to move up to midfield, and the man of the moment at the moment in midfield is Pedri, another Barcelona player, and he's another one who's had his injury issues a little bit, but he's had a very, very good season with Barca this year. And that's kind of elevated him up the rankings very, very much. His game's very much improved, I think. Everybody kind of recognises it's improved under Hansi Flick at Barca. And at the moment, he's regarded as one of the best midfield in the world. Again, youthful, 22 years old, 34 caps for Spain. And what we like about him here at the Road to World Cup 26 is that he's in a world of football, Ken, and we've talked about this before. Players kind of now in modern football kind of get pigeonholed into position. So you've got to be a DM or an AM or, all this kind of stuff. Remember, when footballers just used to run around a pitch. Well, Pedri runs around a pitch. He gets around a pitch incredibly well. He's box to box. He's side to side. He generally plays in the setup with a bit of freedom to roam because you'll have a player holding, and then that allows him that freedom to move. As I say, only at 22, if he can get through this season without any injuries, he'll be massive, I think, in the World Cup. And you talk about the other Spanish midfielders of Rodri, of Fabian Ruiz. They're gifted. They've got so many good midfielders, Spain. But Pedri seems to be, as I said, the man at the moment. And then my last player has to be, there's only one player to talk about in many ways, even though you could talk about several hundred when you come to Spain. It's been very difficult picking out five. But my last player has to be Lamine Yamal. The Spanish Messi, the Spanish Ronaldo, the Spanish anything you want, the Spanish Pele, the Spanish anything you want. You can call him anything you want. This is the most exciting young talent in the world. In the world. Yeah. He only turned 18 a couple of weeks ago, but he's already, obviously, he's been playing for Spain for a year or so.
Yeah, it feels like he's been around for ages, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. He's an absolutely sensational player. He was scouted by Barcelona when he was 6, and what a player this kid is. He'll absolutely light up the World Cup. Called by his boss, Luis de la Fuente, he was touched by the wand of God. Hopefully not the hand of God, but by the wand of God. He's been given the number 10 shirt at Barca, worn by Diego Maradona, but certainly worn by Lionel Messi at his time. And there are so many comparisons now. I read something the other day by Marcus Rashford, who's just moved to Barcelona, obviously from Manchester United. And Rashford said he's the most talented young player he's ever seen. And Rashford's seen a few very talented young players in his time. And indeed, he was very, very much one of them. I don't know if you caught this actually, but La Liga kicked off last week, and Yamal scored an unbelievable goal right at the end of the game. Barcelona were already winning 1-0, but he drifted from the right-hand side, sort of ghosted around 2 other players to put himself just outside the area, but in a central area, and then just bent it left foot into the top corner, top bins. Hey,
he's a special player. He's a very, very special player.
There's nothing this young man can't do. I'm very, very excited. He's one of the kind of key players. I think at some stage during this podcast, we're going to each pick out 5 key players who we want to see at this World Cup. And I'm pretty much sure he's going to be one of them. So there's your players. Oh, what happened to my music? There it goes.
You're right
Right.
to point out the age profile of the players there. Certainly in relation to all the other teams that we've talked about, Spain seem to be focusing on youth and seem to be building an extraordinarily energetic and youthful side. That's going to be, I think, very positive for them in terms of the upside for them. It's got a potential downside as well, and I suppose we'll come to that a little bit later. But yeah, what an exciting team.
How do they set up, Kenny?
They set up consistently in a 4-3-3. I looked at the two most recent games, which was the semi-final of the Nations League, the amazing 5-4 game against France that was, and the final then against Portugal, which they lost on penalties. It's a 4-3-3. As you say, Simon at the back. In terms of then obviously four across the front. Cucurella, we haven't really spoken about Marc Cucurella, who plays for Chelsea, the left back. They've got Pedro Porro, who plays for Spurs, right back. Certainly in the semi. Then you've got Pedri, Zubimendi, and Ruiz across the middle. And then Yamal, Alathbal, and Nico Williams, another player we haven't talked about.
Yeah, I mean, I had Williams, I had Alathbal, I had all sorts. I mean, I must have had 6 players who I started making notes on, and then came across a player I thought, no, this would feature, for the reasons I've given. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's the 4-3-3. They're a very fluid system, though. It's a very fluid 4-3-3. There's people moving all over the place all the time. They've got that kind of energy. They've got those kind of legs in the team. The one thing I'd just point out on that is I just wonder whether they've got enough goals in the team, enough goals up front. I mean, Yamal's 18, so we've got to give him some credit. But he's 6 from 21. We just compare the goal scoring records of Alathbal and Nico Williams. They don't compare with the greatest. And I just wonder whether that's going to be their Achilles heel. But it's a very fluid 4-3-3. That seems to be, and those two games are pretty important games. So I think we're looking at the starting 11, and I think we're looking at the formation that De La Fuente is going to use. So work on the basis of a 4-3-3, but a pretty flexible and fluid one.
Yep, absolutely. And that needs to be because that's the way they play. We're going to talk about the style of play that De La Fuente likes in just a little while. But before we do that, let's have a word from our sponsors, shall we, Ken?
Oh, shall we? As Luis De La Fuente knows, in football it pays to get your team selection right. And here at Global Sports Podcast Network, we spent a lot of time selecting our delivery partner. We chose Zencastr because Zencastr makes it easy to bring your vision to life, share it with your audience wherever they may be. So with 4K video recording, very easy AI editing, superb distribution tools, and all in one place, if you've got a story to tell, you want to tell it with Zencastr. So check out the show notes for more details. That's got to be the worst piece of music I think I've ever heard in my life. It's the kind of stuff you hear in a lift, isn't it? And you want the lift to crash.
Well, it'll be much, if it does crash, it'll be much like your efforts at Kenny's quiz, because it is everybody's favourite time of the week. You got your pipe out a little prematurely there, didn't you? You got it out before your hands. You were ready. You were ready for this. Yeah, put your pipe back.
No, I need to focus, because actually I think I'm getting slightly better at this, but my knowledge of Spain is not great, and I never do any homework, so it's random.
Have you been watching the news this week?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, you're not going to get the first one right then, are you? Right. I've got 3 questions for you.
Okay.
I've got 3 questions for you. Number 1. Beaches in the Alicante province were closed this week after what was found to be in the water?
Oh, well, what can it be? It's going to be a shark.
If you haven't seen this, by the way, you've got no chance of getting this right. You needed to have seen this story.
Okay. It's going to be a shark. It's going to be human effluent. It's going to be jellyfish, crabs, or oil. So I'm going for jellyfish.
I thought you were talking about your Saturday night there when you're going about
That's a pretty good
crabs,
Saturday night, that, to be honest. Crabs,
crabs,
jellyfish, and
oil.
oil.
Yeah.
Mm. None of
Um,
those, any resonance whatsoever with what actually happened.
No, anyway, you're wrong. Obviously,
Right.
the answer is a rare blue dragon was found. In fact, several rare blue dragons were found in the sea off the beaches in the Alicante province, and they had to shut the beaches for about a day and a half
To
whilst they
protect
worked
the
out.
dragons, or to
No,
protect the people from the fire-breathing dragons.
to protect the people not from the fire breathing dragons, but from the dragons themselves. Now, the rare blue dragon is a type of sea slug which has a
Yeah,
very
exactly.
venomous.
You knew that was coming. Everybody thinks it's a dragon, a Welsh dragon, but a blue one. And in fact, what it is just a little bit of squished up membrane on the bottom of the sea. And shut
If
the
you look,
beaches, everyone. It's a blue dragon. No, it's not. It's a blue slug, just
yeah,
with a
it's not quite.
fancy name.
Yeah, it's not quite a Jaws, is it? But
No,
this actually happened. The beaches were shut. Now, the rare blue dragon, as I say, it's a sea slug. It eats. Here's an interesting fact: it eats things like jellyfish and retains their sting and concentrates all that
sorry,
poison.
sorry.
And then
What's the interesting fact? I heard that fact. What's the interesting fact?
that is interesting. You're just mardy because you didn't get it right. So it's quite venomous. It causes a lot of pain if it stings you. So the authorities decided it was better to get people out of the water.
Can
Number
you
two.
imagine? Can you imagine? Before we get to number two, can you imagine Game of Thrones? Like you're organising Game of Thrones, okay? And the producer says to you, "We need dragons, Nick. We need some more dragons. Could you get us a blue one?" And you turn up at the next editorial production meeting of Game of Thrones with a 2-inch slug and say, "There's your blue dragon. Get on with it."
Yeah, I can't really know. Equally, I can't imagine in Game of Thrones when you've got all the armies dashing towards the sea, stopping and going,
Yeah,
"Whoa, steady lads on the beaches! We can't go
right.
in the water. There's some blue
It's,
dragons in there."
it's a small slug, right?
The
Okay.
amazing thing about they are, if you wanted to Google this, people listening, if you want to Google this, they are beautiful. They are beautiful little creatures. They are spectacularly nice looking. So do Google them, and when you do, think of Ken seething in his chair, seething that he didn't know the answer to that. Right, question number
Dragon.
two:
Yeah.
In what year? In what year did Spain become a democracy?
Well, That must be when Francisco Franco died,
Correct. Yep.
and
Good.
King Juan Carlos the First, took over. That oh dear, I remember Franco being in charge. So that must be 1975.
Okay, I'm going to give you another stab because all of everything you said was right, and I'm very impressed by that. By the way,
Thank you.
very impressed. Francisco Franco, General Franco, died in 1975, and
El
then obviously
Castillo.
you've got that little bit of transition to democracy. So I'm going to give you another stab at it.
76 then.
Okay, incorrect. So don't say that I didn't give you the chance. The answer was
Don't
I
tell me
think
it's 73 or something. No, it was after
no,
that. It was after that. 70,
yeah, no, it's not.
77.
Keep going, keep going.
It's 81.
No, 78. You absolute idiot. 75, 76, 77. No, keep going. 81. I mean,
I
what
feel
sort of
such a
fool are you?
fool. You're such a fool.
You are. You are.
Okay.
Anyway, keep sucking
I
on your
must
pipe.
get half a point for flipping all my knowledge of Francisco Franco.
Yeah, I'm tempted to do that. I'm just out of
Thanks,
I'm
mate.
just out of pity for you, to be honest. Right. Okay. Last question. What is the Spanish region, or which Spanish region, I suppose is the best way to put it, is the most famous for its sherry, and indeed produces the country's most sherry? Spain, very famous for its sherry. Which Spanish region produces the most sherry in Spain?
Well, I'm predicting it's going to be somewhere around Jerez, which is and it's like Jerez de la Frontera, isn't it? Is the actual place. But is that the actual region? Is the region called Jerez? Or is it Extremadura or something like that? I'm going to say Jerez.
Is that your final answer?
Oh, no, do you want the street? I mean,
All right.
it's
Okay. If you're going to be like that, if you're going to be like that, no, you're incorrect. Okay.
what is that?
Because I was giving you a chance then, mate. Because I'm really feeling for you today. I was giving you a chance, but you didn't take it. You just threw your toys straight out of the pram, like you always do. So
Sorry.
Jerez is not a region; it's a
No.
town. It's a city,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's a city in a region, and that region is Andalusia. So the
Andalusia.
answer to the question is which region produces the most sherry in Spain? The answer is Andalusia.
And Jerez produces like 99.99999% of it.
It
But
doesn't
isn't a
matter.
region.
The question though, it's not a region.
No,
If I said to you, what is the biggest city in Spain that produces sherry, and you went Andalusia, you'd probably expect me to give you an answer for that as well, wouldn't you? Or a point for that? No, you're nothing there, mate.
half a point then for all those efforts and all that knowledge.
I'm going to bump that up to 3/4 of a point. I'm going to give you a quarter of a point for your knowledge of the full name of Jerez, which is of course Jerez de la Frontera. So you've got good Spain knowledge there.
Thank you.
Not nearly enough. Not nearly enough.
Okay, brilliant. Anyway, there you go.
Okay, we're going to talk in just a moment about the manager, get a flavour of Luis de la Fuente. Before that, I think, Ken, a word from our sponsors.
Yeah, a couple of things actually that I want to mention. Global Sports Podcast Network has partnered with Bioniq, the world's most personalised supplements. Your body's unique, my body's unique, Nick's body's unique. And because without knowing exactly what deficiencies you have, taking off the shelf supplements might mean that you're getting not enough of the nutrients you need and maybe too many of the ones you don't. So Bioniq provides 100% tailor-made supplements designed to deliver precisely what you need. No guessing. So check the link in the show notes. Use the code GSPN2025 for 40% discount off your first order. But before we move on, hope you're enjoying the Road to World Cup. If you are, we're having a lot of fun doing it. Hope you enjoy it and are listening every week. The listenership is growing rapidly, and that's lovely to see. Please subscribe, leave a review, share the podcast. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the whole World Cup qualifying process, whether you think Nick has been a little bit tight on his marking in the Kenny's quiz section. I think that's an important thing to raise. If you want to get in contact with us, you could do so at roadtoworldcup26@gmail.com. And we very much look forward to your emails.
We do, yeah. Road to World Cup 26@gmail.com is the email that if anybody out there says that I'm tight on Ken's marking, I'm not having it. Just get the answers right. Okay. Luis de la Fuente is a 64-year-old former player. He was a left back. Good player in his day, to be fair. He played 254 games in La Liga for Athletic Bilbao and Sevilla. He won a couple of league titles and indeed a Copa del Rey with Bilbao. So well done for him. He went into management and he was in club management for 12 years. This is what now I like these kind of stories, by the way. He went into club management and he was there for 12 years, but it was all lower league stuff. And I like managers who start and learn their trade at the lower league. And there's a kind of theme running through De La Fuente, which I see a lot when he's doing his interviews, when I see him kind of just the general way he behaves. And that he's very grounded. He doesn't let any of his superstars get above themselves. He always talks about being good people as well as good footballers. He's always talking about learning and progressing and education and those kind of things. And I love that. That really, really appeals to me. So he started working with the national setup in 2013. He's been through the ranks. He started with the 19s, then the 21s, then the 23 under 23s, and in 2022 became the senior first team manager. And of course, they won in his first major tournament, which was the European Championships last year when they beat England 1-0. And I think by general recognition, unless you want to disagree with me on this as well, by general recognition, they were the best team in the competition.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. What I like about De La Fuente is he's like a father figure. I get the impression in Spanish football. He's been through everything. He's grown with the players. He knows the players in a completely different way than most coaches, I think, of national teams, who tend to see the players very infrequently, really, compared to club coaches. De La Fuente is different in the sense of he's been with them from 19 to, from their teenage years all the way through to their professional years. He's very much focused on youth, very much focused on promoting youth, very much focused on developing players as characters, if you like, developing the character if you're the player, as well as the technical proficiency of the player. So he's a unique fella. He's a unique perspective. He's got a unique background. And I think that I think De La Fuente is one of the main reasons why Spain maybe have got a chance in the course of this World Cup.
Well, he's got off to a good start. He's won 24 of his 32 games in charge. He plays, as we know, a very possession-based game, but he's increasingly moving away from what I think a lot of people associate Spain with, which is that tiki-taka, pass,
Yeah.
pass. You've had 100 passes and you've just about got out of your own penalty area. He plays with a more traditional number 9. He likes to get the ball forward quickly. And, of course, we know that he's got absolutely riotously good players on the wings, so Yamal and Williams, and just let them run and let them play. Let Pedro buzz around, let them do their stuff. So it's a bit more of a direct attacking style than we've perhaps been used to of the Spain maybe, 10 years ago, where it's just pass everybody to death. He's very much a coach, and I think we've really touched on this today. He's a coach who embraces youth. He loves bringing young players through. He wants to promote youth. He wants to nurture them. He wants to grow them. So we might see some players who could break through in the next year, like Gonzalo Garcia, who had a great Club World Cup for Real Madrid. A lot of people are clamouring for him to be involved, but De La Fuente said no. He's still young. He's still got a lot to learn. He comes across to me as humble, as philosophical, as very grounded, and for that reason, I think he's exactly what Spain need. And I do agree with you on this. If they've got any chance of winning next year, a lot of it's going to be down to him. A lot of it's going to be down to him.
I think that's true. So where do you reckon they will finish next year?
Okay, so predictions then to finish the podcast. I think come next year, Spain will have arguably the best squad in this new generation. It's a kind of generational team now. I think we're seeing a new team emerge from the last one. There'll be a lot of young players. They've got a wealth of talent, and there'll be a lot of players who are left out of the Spain squad who will probably get into most other World Cup teams and squads. However, their recent pedigree in the World Cup is not good. They don't travel that well. And amongst the vibrancy, enthusiasm, and pace and talent of youth also comes inexperience. And if there's one thing you do need at a World Cup, if you're going to progress and win it, is experience. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing them play, but I'm not sure they're going to go all the way. I've got them down as semi-finalists.
Interesting. We're very rarely miles apart on this, and we're not miles apart on this one either. Looking at the last 5 games, which I did a bit of a deep dive into in preparation for this podcast, there's an air with Spain of we'll score more than you. They're obviously outstanding going forward, and a lot of that's from the midfield runners and things like that. They just overwhelm going forward. We've got some incredible talent, but I think they are a little bit brittle at the back, and they do concede against the better teams. They do concede, and I just think that's going to catch them out. I think you've pointed out the fact that their World Cup pedigree is not as good as it might be. They clearly aren't. They don't travel well. I wonder whether their style of play is going to be suited to the conditions. I've got a feeling it's going to be a slower paced game over there in particularly the games in Mexico, simply because of the conditions. So I'm going quarterfinals. I think it will be a surprise. I think everybody's going to say, oh, my word, it's been a disappointment. But you know what? In the context of all the other World Cups that Spain have played in, it's pretty standard. I think they're going out in the quarterfinals. I can see them running up against the Uruguay and losing.
Very good. Very good. Well, put it in your pad, and we will discuss when we've got all the qualifiers. We'll revisit all of this, and we'll revisit where early on in this part of the World Cup build-up we think the teams are going to finish. And so me semis, you quarters.
Yeah,
very good.
I think it's fine, right?
Right. Well, there we go. Very good. Well, bang on 45 minutes, Ken. We've done it again.
Professional. What a pros we are.
Indeed. Where are we going to go next week, mate? Where are we going to go? You're in charge.
I don't know. Where do you fancy?
You're in charge of the world. Should we stay in Europe and do France, or should we?
Yeah, let's do France. Let's do France.
Okay, let's do France then. Another favourite for the World Cup, another heavyweight in Europe. So we very much look forward to that.
With a great national anthem. In fact, the only national anthem that isn't the English one I can actually sing word for word. But I'm not going to do
we'll be listening to that. I think you've laid down your hat on that, Ken, my friend. And I think we'll be listening to you. I won't play the intro next week. I won't play the national anthem next week. I will just let you sing it. And we'll take you.
All right, brilliant.
So until then, I hope you've enjoyed that, by the way. I hope you've enjoyed that deep dive into Spain. Some great talent in there, a few surprises. And until we meet next week when we're talking about France, have a great week. Look after yourselves. Look after each other. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.